Alrighty, hello, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Self-Mastery Monday. Okay, so today's video is definitely going up later than expected because there's just been so much happening this week and this weekend politically, economically, globally, socially, and I wanted to actually sit down and organize my thoughts properly before coming on here and just rambling emotionally on the things that are going on. Because there's been a lot. So we have the White House situation, we have the Iran deal conversation, we have the Fed and the interest rates increase, we have immigration discussions and UFO disclosures, all the chaos online, especially with Twitter, political violence, assassination conversations, Twitter arguments, constant fears. We're basically constantly in this fear cycle, and honestly I think a lot of people right now feel mentally exhausted, not even just politically exhausted, like spiritually exhausted, because every single day there's another headline, another controversy, another crisis, another argument, another thing trying to pull our attention emotionally. And while I do think it's important that we stay informed, I also think it's important that we learn to stay grounded. So today I wanted to come here and just walk through everything that's been happening this week, give you guys my thoughts and opinions on it, and then talk about all the things I think people should actually be paying attention to right now. Because I think people are becoming way too consumed with all the noise and not focused enough, on building their actual lives. So before we get into today's topic, do remember to subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, do like the video, and do comment below your general thoughts on everything that's happening right now, because I know everybody has an opinion this week. But without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Okay, so first things first, I'm not going to be playing any videos with you guys today. I'm just going to give you guys a general summary because I think that we've just seen a lot of stuff on the news in general. But I'm going to summarize each current event, and then give my general thoughts after. I will link all the articles that I'm referencing below in the description if you want to check it out. But let's start with the first thing. Let's talk about the White House situation, the Iran deal conversation, and honestly the overall atmosphere globally right now, because obviously there's a lot of tension surrounding Iran, possible negotiations, discussions of peace, discussions of war, retaliation narratives, threats towards political figures and their families. Obviously we know that with the Ivanka Trump threat that happened over the weekend, and then now conversations online, with everyone's thoughts and opinions on, what actually happened, what this is this part of something else, or does this have to do with, inside job, whether if it's to influence something else. It's just so much, right? It's just so much. And honestly, whether you support Trump or not, whether you're left, right, independent, or whatever, I think the average person is just tired of violence. I don't know about you guys, but I am done. I am so tired of all the violence. I just want everyone to take a chill pill, please. And I think people feel the same way. I think that they're tired of the constant escalations, tired of war, tired of the threats, tired of political extremism, and tired of feeling like the world is just becoming increasingly unstable. And I think what concerns me personally is that it feels every time conversations begin towards stabilization, there's some major incident that happened, another threat, another escalation, another emotionally charged event, something. Now, I'm not sitting here making accusations or pretending to know all the answers, because obviously I don't. But I do think people should be paying attention to the fact that globally right now, there are clear forces, ideologies, governments, organizations, and interests all pulling in different directions. And I'm going to say allegedly here, because I don't want things, this is obviously my thoughts and opinions, my speculations. I'm speculating here. And unfortunately, I think with the the inability to get on the same program as far as just wanting peace and or at least just stopping the violence, right? We could still argue, we could still disagree, but can we just stop the violence, please? I think that as soon as we hear, we're finally coming close to a deal with Iran, then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, allegedly, there's shootings at the White House. Ivanka Trump is about to be threatened, or assassination plots are being held against her, and I'm just like, okay, clearly there's something allegedly out there, someone allegedly out there that doesn't want things to be all good. And whatever those influences, forces are, shame on you. Shame on you guys, because the average person, unfortunately, us regular people, are the ones that are actually affected by it the most. Not just in war zones, and obviously they're impacted by it the most out of everyone, but economically, emotionally, mentally, socially, all across the world. And I think it's important to acknowledge it, because at the end of the day, the average American does not want a war. The average person around the world doesn't want war. They just want stability. And it's hard to have a progressive forefront, hope, optimism with all this uncertainty going on. And we're just constantly being told basically nonsense. We're being fed headlines to distract us from whatever, and then constantly being told nonsense to justify the things that are going on. And I think we're over. I think we're all over it. But I didn't want to get too deep into that. I just want to give you guys a general summary, my general thoughts. If you guys, like I said before, you guys can reference the links that I have below. I referenced the New York Post for the Ivanka Trump threat reporting, and then Retner's for Iran and geopolitical updates as well. But moving on to the second topic. Speaking of instability, right? Let's talk about the economy for a second, because this directly affects regular people. There's obviously been a lot of conversation surrounding the Federal Reserve, interest rates, inflation, Jerome Powell stepping down as chair, and the uncertainty on where the economy is heading next. And regardless of politics, people feel this. You feel this when you go grocery shopping. Homes become unaffordable, businesses slow down, rent increases, borrowing becomes harder, developers stop building, people stop investing, families become financially stressed. And I think it's one of the biggest things that people should actually be paying attention to right now. Not just emotionally reacting on the internet, but understanding how this actually affects my future, especially for younger people. People are trying to buy homes, they're trying to build businesses, they're trying to create stability, they're trying to build wealth, they're trying to become homeowners, they're trying to have families. And I think uncertainty freezes people psychologically. People stop moving, people stop building, people stop taking risks. And while, yes, I understand there's fear right now, I also think this is why people need to become more intentional about educating themselves financially instead of doom scrolling all day. Think about the changes that are happening today and the changes that will be happening in the next 5 years, less than 5 years, 4 years, with all the changes that are going to be happening in government. Try to educate yourself on who's running. Try to educate yourself on who's going to be representing you or who you want to represent you. Because at the end of the day, that directly impacts your future and, most importantly, your pockets. For this particular section, again, I just wanted to do a general summary. You can reference the links that I have below. I am referencing the Federal Reserve official updates and the CNBC interest rate coverage. Now, regardless of what's influencing the interest rates, I do think it's very important for people to be paying attention to the market. And while you may not be in a place to afford a home, it's important to still prepare yourself and get ready. A down payment is going to be required regardless of what the interest rates are. And you should be ready to make that down payment. You should be ready to move forward, especially if something changes, because you don't want to miss your opportunity. You don't want to miss your window. And if it passes by you, you're only going to have yourself to blame. So do pay attention to that. Because I want you guys to succeed. I want you guys to have families. I want you guys to have beautiful homes, especially for someone who's in real estate like me. I'm super passionate about developing. I'm super passionate about real estate. It's something that I'm working to even in these uncertain times, and I think that it's more than possible. There are creative financing options out there. So don't think that just because there's interest rates that are going up and down, left and right, and you're unsure, or even what's available on the market, there are interesting ways that you can get financing. If you are interested, if you want to know, if you need help trying to figure those things out, book a consultation with me and we can walk through your specific situation and I can advise you best on what I think would work for you. But let's get into number 3. Let's get into the other topic swimming around today, which is immigration, the application process, and the border conversation. So transitioning over to that. There's obviously a lot of conversation online regarding immigration processing, visa applications, border policies, and discussions surrounding whether certain applicants may need to return while their application is being processed. And honestly, this is one of the conversations people immediately become emotionally reactive to before actually sitting down and thinking critically. Because on one side, yes, absolutely, I think all countries have the right to secure their borders, maintain systems, and ensure processes are followed properly. I am 100% aligned with that. I think it's important, especially us as Americans, as we've seen all the danger that happened with people just flowing in. And I'm not here to take sides or anything like that, but there are people that I know personally that were impacted and were affected by the open border policy. And I would hate to see someone get hurt. I would hate to see someone be affected to the point of no turning back because we're the government's basically not doing their job to protect their people and protect their borders. So I think that's critically important before people start slamming me in the comment section for this particular topic, because I know it's particularly sensitive. But also being mindful on the other hand and thinking critically, I also think it's important that we handle people with wisdom, fairness, and humanity, because there are people who came here legally, who came here on visas, who came here for work, for school, to build families, to contribute positively, and are simply waiting for documentation or an approval process. And I think those situations should absolutely be handled carefully and by a case-by-case basis. Obviously, I'm not like an immigration expert, right? And I'm still learning about the actual details and processes myself. So I don't want to come here and pretend like I know every legal aspect, because I don't. But I do think people should understand is that social media tends to reduce very complex human issues into political talking points. And life is usually more nuanced than that. I think Americans absolutely have the right to protect its borders, and they should, and protect its systems. And I also think that America should remain the place of opportunity, growth, contribution, innovation, and hope for people trying to genuinely build better lives the right way. And I think those things and I do think that those things can exist simultaneously. And for that particular section, I am referencing USCIS official immigration updates and then Department of Homeland Security as well. Now, let's go into topic number 4, which is what I think is just a whole bunch of noise, a lot of distractions. But let's top this all off, right? We also have a whole bunch of information coming out with UFO disclosures, conspiracy conversations, Twitter wars. We can comment on the Twitter wars, maybe we will, maybe we won't. But we have the viral outrage cycles, the nonstop breaking news, the online arguments, the fear bait, the rage bait, and people doom scrolling literally every single day, all day long. And honestly, I think people are becoming mentally and emotionally, spiritually overwhelmed, because every single day you wake up, you grab your phone, consume fear, consume outrage, consume division, consume chaos, consume arguments, consume panic. Eventually your spirit's going to start to become exhausted and you're going to overwhelm yourself mentally. And I think people need to become very intentional right now about what they're putting their attention to, because attention is energy. And if all your energy is going towards like fear, outrage, and panic, you're not going to have anything left for your actual life. You're not going to be able to build anything. You're going to have nothing left for your goals, for your business, for your family, for your health, for your future, for your learning, for your growth. And I think this is the part that people are missing right now. Yes, stay informed. Very crucially important. But there's a difference between staying informed and being emotionally consumed by all this chaos around us. And this is what I really want to talk to you guys about today on this Self-Mastery Monday. Because while all these things matter to some extent, You still have the responsibility of your life. And I think too many people right now are becoming spectators of life instead of participating in their own future, and watching headlines all day, watching watching politics all day, watching drama all day, watching outrage all day, but you're not actually applying yourself in any other way. You're not trying to build a skill. You're not trying to uh, create a future. You basically don't even know what you want out of life or the kind of person that you want to be, and you don't even know what you're going to do today to even move forward, if you even do know what kind of person you want to be. And I think people should really pay attention to that specifically right now. And when I say that, I'm talking about your future, I'm talking about your goals, I'm talking about what you're lacking to accomplish them. And honestly, I think one of the biggest problems right now is that people are waiting for certainty before they start building their lives. They're waiting for the economy to be perfect, for politics to calm down, for the market to stabilize, for life to become easier, for someone to save them, for the perfect opportunity, for confidence, for support, for validation. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you guys, that moment never comes, or it doesn't come, or it doesn't come when, or it isn't coming anytime soon. Um, and sometimes you just have to build during uncertainty. Sometimes you have to learn while you're uncomfortable. And to be honest, that's sometimes the best time to learn. Sometimes you have to learn to take risks while you're scared. Sometimes you have to move forward while you're trying to figure things out. Because if you don't, then you'll never start. You'll never start, and you'll be in the same place year after year after year. And that's something I've been learning myself personally, because even with everything that I'm building right now, learning AI, learning systems, trying to grow organically on YouTube and social media, building business ideas, working towards business ideas, working towards real estate development, trying new things I've never done before. There are moments that I doubt myself, but even though I have moments that I doubt myself, and there's a lot of things that I'm juggling, there's nothing stopping me from doing something each and every day to work towards those goals, to create the future that I want. And I think more people need to admit to themselves that they're unsure, they're scared, they don't have the resources, they don't have everything. But growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. You need to realize that you need to pick yourself up by your own bootstraps and move forward, walk towards what you want, because no one's going to come and rescue you. No one's going to come and do the work for you. And even if you have support, you need to have your inputs. You're going to be the person driving the ship. You may have your sailors, you may even have the boat, but if you're not taking the direction forward and playing your part to steer and put that boat on the water, you're never going to go anywhere. So if you wait until everything feels perfectly ready, you're never going to start, is what I'm trying to say. So instead of being emotionally consumed by everything happening around you, think about what you can control right now. Can you learn a skill? Can you start a business? Can you improve your finances? Can you get healthier? Can you strengthen your faith? Can you strengthen your discipline? Can you become more intentional with yourself? Can you spend less time doom scrolling? Take a moment of silence for that. And invest more time into your future, because those things actually matter. And I really want people to understand something, that the opportunity to grow still exists, even through uncertainty, even through chaos, even during fear. Especially in America, there are still opportunities online, through education, through trade, through mentorships, through business, through technology, through AI, through networking, through creativity. And I think people underestimate how much of their lives they can change in 1 year if they become intentional. Not perfect, but intentional. Small, consistent efforts changes lives. And honestly, I think that people should focus on what I think people should focus on the most right now, not becoming emotionally trapped in every single headline. Acknowledge what happens. Yes, stay informed, pay attention, but don't become consumed watching history unfold, that you forget to build your own future. And I think that the perfect place to end this self-mastery Actually, before we end the self-mastery, just addressing the things that I think people are so caught up with these assassinations, with the Iran war, with economic uncertainty. I understand your pain. I'm there with you. I'm paying attention just as much as you guys. But I wanted to come to you guys with something clear. You see how I just went through all the current topics? Okay, I acknowledge what happened. These are my opinions on it. Now I'm trying to move forward and move on to what I can actually do. I have my to-do list, as I always do every single day. And I'm still accomplishing them despite the uncertainties. And I know people are tired of violence. And I'm tired of it too. To hear that, there's an assassination attempt on a political member's family, on our president, for whatever the reason case may be, and even actual assassination attempts that actually happened with Charlie Kirk can scare anyone, can bring anger onto anyone, because at the end of the day, we all just want peace, and we don't understand why there's certain forces allegedly out there that want to prevent that from happening. We have an idea, which we're not going to speculate right now, but let's focus on what we can do. Let's have a united front on being aware and educating ourselves on the people that we're going to elect, on maybe who the people, on what they stand for, and maybe the people who may donate to them. And let's be more smart when it comes to our electoral votes, when it comes to the people who we allow to govern us, when it comes to the influences that we allow in our communities. Start with the controllable aspects first. And then hopefully, if we stay on the united front and we don't waver ourselves, we can actually make change, especially in a shorter term that we think, right? But pay attention to the next few years. There are going to be electoral changes. There are going to be changes in the presidency. There are going to be changes in general. And this is not a shot at any government. There's not a shot at any current administration. But this is just general advice for you guys to educate yourself on what is important and to express yourselves on what's important to you, and at least know what's important to you. So even if you don't want to go online, even if you don't want to share your opinion, you can do what you can in your local community by helping others, by being there for other people, and then voting according to what that is. And I hope you guys take out the time to understand that everything in general starts with you. How your world orbits, what impacts you, starts with you. And I know there's a lot of uncontrollable stuff, right? But how you manage your finances, how you think about your future, and what you invest your time, energy, and capital into is important. So I think that's the perfect place to end Self-Mastery Monday. So yes, it's important to pay attention to the economy, pay attention to leadership, pay attention to policies, pay attention to the direction the country and the world is going, but most importantly, pay attention to your own life. Pay attention to your habits, your mindset, your discipline, your goals, your future, your faith, and the people around you. Because at the end of the day, you still have a responsibility to become the best version of yourself, regardless of what happens around you. And honestly, I'm trying to do that in this season of my life, and in every season of my life. Not perfectly, but intentionally. And I hope this video encouraged you guys a little bit. I hope it helped ground you guys a little bit if you've been feeling overwhelmed lately by everything that's happening online and in the world. And I hope this reminds you that your future is still worth investing in. So I love you guys deeply. Thank you guys for all the support. We're moving the needle little by little, and it's been so exciting to see the growth. Even if it's slow progress, it's still progress. And remember that. You guys see how optimistic I am despite only having but a few subscribers and you guys tuning in with me. And I appreciate you guys tuning in with me every week. But one day I'll get to where my goal is, as long as I remain consistent. And I hope that my journey, as you guys see here, encourages you guys to do the same. But anyway, thank you guys so much for all the support. That's all that I have today. So do remember that we drop content every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And do remember to subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, do like the video, and do comment below. I hope this video made you feel better, but if you guys are feeling overwhelmed, do remember that I do offer consultations so we can walk through any uncertainties that you have. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to support. Obviously, I have my time is valuable, but I wanted to give you guys the option to lean on someone, especially during these uncertain times, especially if you're having struggles with your finances or if you're just emotionally overwhelmed with everything going on in life. We can walk through it, we can make something work, and we can put you on the correct path so you are progressing towards a better future. But that's all I have for today, so I'll see you guys in my next video. So bye.